Welcome to Shelley Studio, exploring art. Today we're gonna figure out what to do with one of those jelly prints we made earlier. It's one that I don't like very well, so that's what I've been doing, is taking the jelly prints that I don't like too well and covering them up with a lot of other stuff. I decided to do a leaf stencil. I don't know why I picked the leaf. I think it's just because it was there and I hadn't used it yet, so I thought I'd try it. I'm using a Faber-Castell brush that I was given in a kind of a surprise box. I don't know if it's for stenciling, but it works pretty good. I'm using a medium body white, titanium white. They say the thicker the paint, the less bleed underneath the stencil, so that's what I tried to do. That was the thickest paint I had. Here I'm not wanting to wait to do the next one, so I tried to fan it dry. And adding more paint to the stencil. I'm using my fingers to hold it up so that I don't get smush the paint underneath. And I apologize for my videoing. Someday when I can afford it, I will get a real video camera instead of my SLR. I just look up randomly and it's not recording, so I apologize for that. This one I did with a little bit of pink in it because I wanted it to show up on top of those other ones. It doesn't look like you can see it much, but we'll do something about that later. I still don't like the background, and so I decided I'd put a little brown, added a little white. Okay, let's just give it all the white because that's way too dark. And I take a credit card, plastic card, and just scrape the paint on. Just exploring to see what's going to happen. Not really liking it, but I'm committed, so we're just going to go for it. We'll just keep doing stuff to it. After all, in the beginning it was just a plain sheet of paper, and we can always gesso over the whole thing if we just absolutely hate it, or it's just a single sheet of cardstock so it can go in the garbage. So here I've really darkened the edges. I like really dark edges for some reason, and so I just went for it. I'm using a Sharpie poster paint brush, or marker rather, to outline the white leaves because they've kind of disappeared. I haven't found my favorite white paint or marker for drawing yet. I tried that one. It works okay, but it's really faint and you have to keep putting layer over layer. I've used the paint pens and they just run out, so I end up dipping the tip into their paint and just drawing with that. Anyways, still working on that. This one I'm just going over it with a Sharpie to outline it, and I go the white one. It's kind of hard to see at the bottom of this because I cut it off. I apologize. I'm just outlining the white leaves with the Sharpie. I'm giving them a little bit more dimension, drawing the line, the vein line on, and then on one side putting a bunch of lines. Gives them a little bit more dimension and some interest. Now I've decided that pink is just not showing up. It's kind of muddy. It's got brown on it. So we're going to mix a little pink and white together and paint the inside of those leaves inside the Sharpie so that it stands out a little bit more. So it's mostly white, just a little bit of pink. I didn't want it to go crazy pink. And just filling up those spots. There's a little bit of brown. There's like scribbles. There's just randomness. This will clean it up a little bit, get it to look a little bit better. And, you know, they say paintings go through an ugly stage. This one started out in an ugly stage. At the very end, it's maybe a little less ugly. I don't know. You can give me your opinion of what you think about this actual image at the end. I'll show you a couple of stills of it when we get completely done. So there's the pink done, and I actually went over the top ones with a little beige and white, just to give them a different color. And now I've decided to shade around the edges. I just have some burnt umber and white to lighten it up just a titch, and just going around them and giving them a little bit more detail, giving them a vein line. I thought they needed it because they all just kind of look muddy together, and so I'm just trying to get something to stand out. I did edit this a little bit because it's a long process going around each one of those leaves and doing this shading. So it jumps a little bit. It just, I don't want my videos to be as long as the actual process takes, which I've never actually timed it, but it's a pretty long time. I'm new to videotaping these, and hopefully you don't mind the jumping too much. I've been watching YouTube videos forever, and I look at some of them and they're like an hour and a half long. I'm like, I'd really like to watch that, but I don't have time to watch that. So I save them, and then I don't end up seeing them. So hopefully you get enough information with the shorter video. And if you have any questions about, what paints I'm using and anything like that, any tools that I randomly use, just mention them in the comments. I will try to check them all. The only thing I'm using for this is my iPad. I don't currently have a personal computer. Yeah, I know. I'm crazy. I sit at one all day at work, so I don't sit at one at home. So maybe eventually I'll get a laptop or something, because it's been kind of difficult getting the videos onto YouTube without an actual computer. So I'm still just going around these, giving them, doing it a little lighter on the inside where it was so dark on the outside. This is just still trying to make them show up a little bit. Give them the veins, make them a little bit more dimensional. Then I decide I'm going to do a little pink and brown around the pink flowers, or leaves, and it jumps quite a bit. You'll see me draw a few lines and then it'll be done all of a sudden. There you go. It's done all of a sudden. So now I decide for my third set of leaves, I'm going to go a different way, and I'm grabbing my Neo Color 2 watercolor crayons and just outlining them, the leaves with the crayon. And then I'll go back with the brush and some water and just activate the watercolor in those crayons and blend them. So I just work at that for a while and blend until I get it the way I want. It's a little bit different color brown, but this thing is the whole time I was working this, I was like, this is not pretty. I did 2 prior to this one with some jelly prints that I didn't like, and I thought they turned out terrific. And then I go and do this one, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. Maybe the base of the others was a lot better than I thought when I started. This one's just been a struggle. So anyways, I'm still going around the leaves with the water, and blending out the watercolor crayons I've got on there, just to make it look more normal. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't like the background. I've got to do something to that. So I cut up some Tim Holtz tissue, printed tissue paper, and we're just gonna glue some of that around the background. Right now I'm just trying to decide where I want it, and then of course the camera stops and it's already gone on. And so here we are, sticking it all down after I've decided where I want them to go. And I apologize again for it being cut off at the bottom. I'm gonna have to draw a line on my table where I have to keep the paper, because it tends to get closer and closer to me as I go. And again, the camera stopped. I decided this picture had possibilities, so I put the word possibility on there with a little puffy paint pen. It doesn't seem to stick out very much, so I'm going around it with my food ball pen. I love this thing. It writes on just about anything. I'll have to give me a new one when this one runs out. I've loved it so much. It was part of a package, same one that paintbrush came in. I'll have to figure out where I can buy those, because I think they're terrific. They just need them in white. Maybe they have them. I haven't even checked it out. So here's the completed piece. Like I said, it has possibilities. It's not totally ugly. Some of the close-ups are quite pretty, actually. There's a couple of close-ups. And I want to thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and share. I'm going to try and upload once a week, so if you want to subscribe, I would appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.